Hey guys, Guardian here. Today I'm going to talk about patch 6.10. I know it's been a long time already since the patch has released, but we only waited so long to actually release this because I really wanted to play Talia first to actually know about how Talia actually is like. And my first impression of Talia as a champion is actually really good. I played as her and also against her already, and she is really a champion that is very versatile and also very fun to play with. If you have not played her, go ahead, buy her, play her, and leave a comment down below and just tell us how good Talia actually is. Because for me, Talia is a champion that requires a lot of positioning, and also it requires some good timings to actually play. So this is a very interesting champion to play. I recommend you all play Talia now. And without further ado, let's just jump into the champion changes. I am going to be covering the champions only this time because I read through the entire note, and the champions have a lot of changes that are very significant here. So let's jump right into it. Alista's Unbreakable Will now has damage reduction that is scaling, no longer 70 at all rank. In my opinion, this is really good. I believe in a lot of players' sense is that the scaling damage reduction actually means to bring down Alista's power ratio, because if you put 70% at all ranks, Alista will be powering through every single rank of the game with the extra tankiness, and he becomes really strong even in the early game, and then it will push and steamroll you up to the late game, and you are still having the 70% bonus, which is really way too good. For Anivia, the Glacial Storm has now lesser mana cost, 30, 40, and 50. The cast range is higher, and the initial radius is increased by 20. This is important because the current changes has made Anivia a bit redundant, because the Glacial Storm is too small in the initial cast. Now when it's having a bigger initial cast, it will actually expand much faster, and it's really good. And that is not the most important change, however, because now you can actually use Zhonya's Hourglass while using Glacial Storm. When you're using Zhonya's Hourglass, it won't get interrupted and it will still continue the cast. So Anivia players, buy Zhonya's Hourglass now, because in the past Zhonya's Hourglass was shit on Anivia. You get shit on if you get Zhonya's Hourglass. Your ultimate won't cast along with it and everything, so it's not that great. Now it's good. For Aurelion Soul, the Celestial expansion now has a higher cooldown, so watch out for Aurelion Soul players. Do not try to spam your Celestial expansion, because it takes a longer cooldown time for you to recast it and put your stars back in place. For Voice of Light, there is a lower damage now, but this is good because a lot of people are complaining that the burst damage from Aurelion Soul for the ultimate is actually way too high. They are trying to put the damage um, based on the stars and also the Voice of Light to be more balanced. For Cassiopeia, Noxious Blast is now longer range, and it's actually quite scary already now. For Miasma, the cooldown has been decreased, however, the minimum range has also been decreased. Uh, the maximum range itself has been increased, but it doesn't really affect much. However, the one thing that really changes it all is that now it no longer just hits the terrain, it just goes past the terrain and hits over the wall. Now you can just stop anybody from over walls that trying to jump over and everything. Okay, this is the thing that you want to use. For Fiddlesticks, now the added effect is that if you stand 5 seconds and you do not move, he actually becomes a Scarecrow, which I have not realized, surprisingly. I have played Fiddlesticks in this patch, and I didn't realize that he becomes a Scarecrow. I need to go and try that later. For Dark Wind, however, the number of bounce has been reduced to 6, which is sad for a lot of Fiddlesticks players. For Fizz, the Chum the Water now does not get cleansed, but he still gets slows. Okay, last time what happens is that when you have Quicksilver Sash, it will actually just cleanse that bait off the person and it just drops to the floor. Now it does not. It no longer detaches, but the person still gets to cleanse away the slow, which is kind of a crucial thing for a lot of Fizz players. A lot of Fizz players actually get disappointed by the fact that because they don't hit, quote unquote, the Chum the Water's bait, their ulti is useless. However, this also means that a lot of people out there will have to watch out when they get hit by the ultimate. For Ilaoi, nothing much has changed except that the cooldown has been reduced to a flat rate of 4 seconds for Harsh Lesson, which is nothing much. Maybe the skills become more spammable in the early game, that's all. For Jinx, the switcheroo now has actually lower attack speed because for the fishbone, which is actually the rocket, it is way too fast for somebody who is actually holding a bazooka. Now they're trying to reduce the attack speed and also reduce the bonus attack speed when for every single attack speed you get, because nowadays, let's face it, Jinx with Runa's Hurricane and also using the rocket is really strong, and nobody likes to screw with Jinx doing that. For Malzahar, the passive called the Void Shift is now increased in cooldown until level 18, where it's like 6 seconds. This actually makes a lot of sense for the current Malzahar change, because Malzahar has been known for a lot of harassers, and by giving 30-second window means that people can recover from laning against a Malzahar. A lot of people thinks that Malzahar now with the Malefic Vision and the Voidlings, they cannot out harass the Malzahar because Malzahar has so much passive damage going on in one lane, especially when you're playing Malzahar support. For Master Yi now, there is a 0.25 ability power per second for the regen for meditation, which is not much of a big deal, but of course when you have Rage Blade, nothing is a small deal. Everything is just strong with Rage Blade nowadays. And for Voodoo style, the true damage has been increased by a few. It's just very little. At the maximum, it increased by 10. This is a bit concerning for some players, but it's actually not much of a change comparative to if actually like increasing an AD ratio. This actually is not so bad. It probably is given to Mathi in order to compensate for the lack of CC he has. For Nocturne, now the passive has AP ratio per hit. Actually, this is not so bad for some players because they want to use Grince's Rage Blade and Baron buff and everything. So having this means that there is a conditional advantage over the enemy when you have AP. For Shyvana, not much has changed, only additional scaling with the 0.1 AP per second and also the power on hit for 0.025 ability power. For Swain, one of the things that's very important is that the health growth stats have changed by 12, so now he will become even more tanky even with the items. For Decryptify, now it executes minion that is below 10 health, and for the ultimate, Ravenous Flood, it no longer heals for 75% flat, however it heals 30, 45 and 60% flat plus. This is actually really fair for the game because having to buy the items and then use them into the ratio of the skill actually works very well with Swain. Swain is a mid laner that really heavily relies on the utility of the items like Rylai's Scepter and also Liandry's Torment. By putting this in actually makes him stronger. And now for Taric, the Cosmic Radiance, which is the ultimate, now has a brighter particle effect when it's affected by the Cosmic Radiance and becomes invulnerable. This is actually really good for Taric players because a lot of times people who play as Taric, they don't even know if the ultimate is actually affecting the target. For Tryndamere, now they just did some adjustment with the minimum health where after you have your ultimate, you will definitely be at 30, 50 and 70 health. No big deal. For Vel'Koz, now the passive is increased to 0.5 ability power, and also for the ultimate, the ratio will be increased to 1.25 ability power, which is scary when you think about it, because if you have full stacks of passive, you are actually dealing true damage, and with the ultimate having an increased ability power, expect a lot of laser damage on the Rift, so be careful of Vel'Koz. And now for Vladimir. For Transfusion, nothing much has changed apart from some particle effects. However, for Tides of Blood, now it has been fixed that if you release Tides of Blood, you don't cancel Sanguine Pool, which is really good because it helps Vladimir to do some combo skills that that can never be done before. For Hemoplague, the healing versus champions now has been changed from 50% of damage dealt to 150, 250, and 350 plus 0.7% of the ability power, which is not so bad because this helps to balance out the amount of HP generating and healing Vladimir upon landing the ultimate. It's not going to be way too strong, it's not going to be way too weak, it will just be great as it is according to how much item you have built, how much you have farmed, and it motivates you to actually um, get more gold, invest into the ability power in order to make sure that the R actually does more damage and also heals you more as well. For Zyra, the passive, which is Garden of Thorns, now the seeds can be stepped on after 1 second of immunity after it spawns, which is not bad. This is actually really good because, let me explain, with all the seeds everywhere, it's actually very hard to go in front and harass Zyra. Once you do that, you get trapped and then you get trapped in a kill zone and you just get harassed like mad, which is really just hell when you're fighting against a Zyra support. And coupled with enemy hyper carry is a very deadly combination to actually fight Zyra. Um, Being able to step on the passive early means that you can actually just go around and trying to deny the kill zone, trying to deny the zone control that Zyra has on you. That's really all for the patch note actually. You can see the splash art here, which is just some updates, and then there is also some jungle respawn time and everything that is having some change around here to some of the spell, the ghost, and everything. This I will not cover because the majority of the change is in the champions for this change for this lineup. I hope you guys like what you guys are hearing today from me, coming from me. If you disagree with me, leave a comment down below and you say why. And if you guys agree with me, leave a comment down below as well. Tell me that, hey, you're telling me the truth and everything. Let us talk about it and everything. I will respond to comments and also I will talk to all of you in the comments if as and when I can. So as always, thank you and see you guys around. I will be playing League of Legends again soon. Um, Probably the next patch. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.